Hello, everybody, and welcome to our third episode this year of Astrology Embodied. And today we are talking about a year of inner knowing with intuition, psychic awareness, and water energy. And we're here with our beautiful friend Elle from Copper Market Astrology.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, as always. I feel like every time I do this, I'm in a different location with some weird lighting, so bear with me.
You know what? We got to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Got to keep it fresh. I just went to go see what planets are even in water before we talk about this. Not a lot.
Not a lot going on right now in the water world. But, I mean, we all have our planets in us that hopefully, if you have a lot of water, you've managed them well and maintained them and allowed them to feel the feels that they need. I probably shouldn't move a lot in this chair. That's really loud, huh? I'm like, whoa, I don't think that's squeaky.
It's a little squeaky. It would only do it on camera, of course.
I know. I've literally been moving and talking to you for like 15 minutes and not a noise, but it's fine. But yeah, so I wanted to touch base today with, water intuition and just the signs and then the houses that really embody that. There's so much depth to it, and I feel like we've touched on water signs generally doing like a series of water and earth or going through a certain amount of houses, and it kind of seems rushed sometimes, so I wanted to just like take my time with the water and intuitive, and then also throw in that your moon and your Neptune and kind of how your emotions and how you also your intuition, like bringing those two together, kind of made sense, and really seeing how they align in your chart, what houses they're in. Does that make your intuition stronger? Are there areas for your intuition to heighten? And how can you do that? Because there are so many ways you can embrace your intuition. I'm not naturally a feeler. I'm not like, oh, I can feel something is happening or whatever. I'm a knowing, like it comes to me on a knowing, like I just know. And so learning the different types of intuition I think is very important too, because some people, just because you don't feel it doesn't mean that you're not equally as intuitive. It just means that you receive your messages in a different way, which a lot of times has to do with certain things in your chart. So it's always good to understand.
Yeah. I actually just did a reading yesterday, and it was I have to remember what it was. It was like specifically the Neptune, and I was like, "Oh, do you have visions? Are you clairvoyant?" And she was like, "Yes." It was so funny. I'm like, "It's in your chart, man." Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one of my favorite things with Neptune is when there's a really cool connection with Neptune and the moon. I think that like really embraces an extra layer of intuitive nature, trusting how you're feeling and what your intuition is bringing to you, but also being so tapped into your emotions that it's easy for you to read and see what's really going on. So just a lot of fun things to unpack, and I didn't know if there was any specific order. I might also have a teenager walk through the door. So this is how well prepared this was tonight. But yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to start with any particular water sign, or just do you want to share your experience with the water signs and the vibes?
And they vary. Yeah, my experience with water signs is always varied. And also being a Capricorn, like it really varies. And I don't mind the water signs. I just have unique relationships. I can't even like lump them all together to
really?
They're all unique.
See, I feel like mine are all so similar. I have no water in my chart. I mean, I have Scorpio. I have some Scorpio in there. Very little. But yeah, I feel like they are so, like my Cancer girlfriends, all very similar. Vibe with them probably the best. Them and Scorpio, it's hard to say. Cancer, I vibe with Cancers, and we square each other. So I don't know if that's like my Taurus moon playing a part or what, but Cancer women, I really vibe with. The feminine energy of Cancer, I vibe with. The men, eh.
Cancer
I
men are
even
different.
can't have a conversation with them. I can't. And that's
I
like,
think something to
there's like
it though.
there's one, maybe two.
They don't know how to like deal with it all, so they're like kind of constipated emotionally, energetically, in my
Yes.
experience.
It's so much. I've met one and I met him recently. This was within the year. He's dating one of my friends. He's a very evolved Cancer, but I would even say he has more, and he's, not he's that's my girlfriend's boyfriend. So he just has to me more of a feminine energy. And so I think I vibe with him more because he has that feminine type of energy, not that weird masculine crybaby. That's emotional constipation. I like that. That was the best way to describe that.
Yeah. It's just
But
they're unprocessed. They don't know what to do with all of it, and then they might feel like they might even not even the right terminology for like empath. That the energy that they're carrying is not their energy, but they don't know how to process their own energy. It's just too much in a field with there's no education. Yeah,
it's a disaster. It's a disaster. But
it
the
is.
Cancer women, I fuck with hard because they are so kind, so sweet. I love them. I don't know, I just have the best time with them. And also, I've said this before, I love snacks and they always have snacks. So you gotta
So
love a
true.
Cancer that shows up with snacks.
Yeah,
Scorpio,
you're right. I think that's why I carry around so many Taurus women.
snacks. You're gonna
Yeah,
get hangry. Nobody wants to deal with a hangry Capricorn. I know firsthand.
no.
No. So, Scorpio, again, all my girlfriends that are Scorpio, very similar. I adore them, love them. They're a little darker. There's a little bit more, I would say, boundary setting with Scorpio women. I found that they're really good at setting boundaries, and I like to, I think I always admire that, and I'm always like taking notes in a low key kind of way of like, oh, she didn't put up with shit. Like, I really admire their like hard lines for boundaries. Again, with
Mm.
Scorpio men, it's very challenging for me. I feel like I was telling my husband this. I feel like there's just this, we don't trust each other. And I don't know what it is or why. I just never trust Scorpio men. And it's like this reverse thing. Like they don't trust me. There's just no like
Hmm.
way to like have a conversation or really connect because I feel like there's so much distrust. Like I don't trust you, and they're like I don't trust you. And I've shared my experience with Scorpio men in my younger years on this whole life, and it hasn't gone away. So
Yeah, I'm ex-husband, Scorpio man. I've dated a lot of Scorpio, or most of my serious relationships that I've had the most heartbreak were Scorpio men. I will definitely have one night stands, short term things, totally cool, but I don't ever want to do a long term with the
mm-mm,
Scorpio man. Scorpio
no.
women, I enjoy. I love the banter. I feel like we can get deep as far as Capricorn energy and Scorpio energy goes. Like we love to go. I also feel like they're usually pretty direct, which I can appreciate. But also, there's at least in my experience so far, has been a little bit of mistrust. But I just kind of have a mistrust in general with women and men. So
Yeah, it's broad. It's broad that one there. For me, it's like really geared towards like a certain sign. No,
mm,
I love Scorpio women. And again, there's a lot of times I find the friends that I have that are Scorpio, I just kind of take notes. I just kind of sit back and watch them because I'm like, I don't know. I like that vibe. I like their vibes. So, and then
yeah. Would you
Pisces,
say that it's? Oh yeah, Pisces. I always forget about Pisces.
they're there.
Yeah, they sure are.
Would I say what? You were gonna ask me a question.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, out of the intuitive of the water signs, which would you say would be the most intuitive, if you
I
had
think
to
it
choose?
depends. I think it depends. I think cancers are more intuitive when it comes to like family matters and close relationships. I think that they can sense certain things. Like I always say that I think a Cancer can sense someone's suffering faster than anyone. They can sense
Mm.
pain in terms of like someone's suffering. Scorpio, I feel like, is like the fact checker. Like they sense when someone's bullshitting or someone's lying. Like they're like,
I think
and
they also
maybe,
sense danger in a weird way, like
yes,
imminent danger than other
yeah,
signs.
yep. No, absolutely. I think that those are like their strengths. And then I think for like Pisces, I think it's more of a like spiritual like connection. I think that they might be better um, with their psyche in terms of like the outer world or things that are, you know, on the other side of the veil and things like that. I think that they
Hmm.
have, I mean, and that all depends, right, on their chart and different things that are aligned in their chart or not. But that's just what I found. I know that I just think Cancers are so tapped in family, obviously, and then Scorpios, they really can tap into like when someone's bullshitting them. And then Pisces is just spiritual. They're so far out there and they're just so connected to so many random weird things. It's just, I think that's kind of their strength, their superpower.
Yeah, that does track. I think
Yeah.
you're right about the Pisces too, because every Pisces I've ever known has had probably either a near-death experience or just already really tapped into that like upper middle underworld to the
Yes. And you know what?
unseen.
They are not as aware of danger like Scorpios. Like Scorpios, how you were saying, like they have
Oh
an
no.
intuition of like danger. I don't think Pisces has that at all.
They're literally the ones running into ongoing traffic, and I'm like, what are you doing? I've been in a car with some scary Pisces, and I'm like, no, I actually am more scared of whatever's happening here than the person
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah. No, no, they're definitely they're signals of like danger that should be going off. You know, there's a
Hmm.
naiveness. I've always said this. Pisces has a naiveness to them that they just trust so willingly. And I think that that is, I would say for me personally, I would hate that because I don't want to trust anybody. Like, I know that seems so
Yeah.
dangerous. And I just feel like they get themselves into a lot of trouble with that. And I don't really see, I guess there's probably those cases where it's like, no one believed in me, but this person believed in me. And I would really admire those stories. But I don't think that that is, I think that's the, what is that called? The, when you're not the norm. There's a word for it. But,
The
um,
outlier or something.
yeah, no, it's like, that's the, I lost it. I don't know. I'll think about it. But it's just, I don't think that that's generally how it turns out, that there's some great story. I think they get burned a lot. I think they get hurt a lot. Ironically, I've only been burned by like three girls in my entire life that have like really burned me, and they all three have been Pisces. Not
Wow.
bad.
Only three? Oh my
I mean,
god.
that might be pushing. I honestly really can only think of two, but I know there was another one. I just can't remember the situation. I was young. Yeah.
Mm, that's
I
wild.
have I like to think I have a good friend picker because I really
I
I don't
definitely do
know. I've
not.
been pretty fortunate.
That's
Mm.
awesome.
I will say this. I will say this. So this will kind of tie into us talking about our Neptunes and our moons. So
Mm.
my moon is Taurus and my Neptune is Capricorn. I have this beautiful trine that is within degrees of my moon and my Neptune. And so my fantasy and my intuition is not, again, it's a knowing thing. It's not like this feeling thing, but I have a pretty good sense of people and how I feel about people because of that Capricorn Neptune. I think that's like my saving grace, to be honest. Because
Yeah,
Capricorn's
honestly,
pretty
I kind of
bullshit
wish
kind
I
of thing
had.
too.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I had a little bit more, a better Neptune. That's probably my biggest downfall is my damn Neptune.
But I feel like you're pretty good too. I know you have your moments, and I'm sure there's some people that get through because of maybe there's something in their chart connecting with yours, but I think you have a pretty good bullshit detector. I would 100% say that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes, you do. You may not be
I
feeling
won't
that right
agree at the
now.
moment, but
At the moment, yeah, it's just a moment thing. So I'm gonna just
yeah,
kind of give
it's true.
my, yeah, facts. But Pisces, that's what I was gonna say actually. Pisces women, I vibe with. I also vibe really well with Pisces men. We make like the best friends. There's always just this silly, this lightness. They're a little out there in how they think, and I can appreciate that. Both women and men.
That's true. That's true. We do that. I've definitely only partied really with Pisces men, and it has always been a good time, but it should always be a short time.
In small increments.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. No, I think most of my Pisces guys have always been work relationships, so I can't even really relate to that. I've always kept it pretty professional. But Pisces men typically are one of the most successful signs. Fun fact, in case anyone didn't know.
That kind of surprises me.
I know it did me too when I first started researching it, but it's the consistency and the intuition drive, depending on what they have going on in their chart. But a lot of times Pisces men are providers because they are so very consistent and they do lead subconsciously through intuition that they don't even realize.
I mean, consistent wouldn't be the word that I'd frame for Pisces.
Pisces men, male, masculine. I'm trying to stop saying men. The Pisces masculine energy, if you think about it, and again, depending on their chart, think about the people that you know that have masculine Pisces energy, not feminine, and how they do in careers. Just a thought. I don't know.
Interesting.
The ones I know
I'm gonna have to start putting that one on my radar now.
Yes. Like, how long have you been at your job? You're a Pisces, right? I'm
Yeah,
conducting
I'm
a
gonna
study.
I love my independent studies.
I know when someone says something when they tell me their sun sign and then they throw me off with like something in their life and I'm just like, do you happen to know the time of your birth? I'm like, you're
For
not, what
real.
you're saying isn't really aligning with your sun sign, so I'm just guessing there's a lot of other things going on, and so like I'm really gonna need your time and your location, and they're just like, no, I just
Run.
met you. You probably, it's for your own good.
Yeah.
Goodness. So just to kind of run through, Julie and I were expressing our experiences with each of these signs, but I did want to touch on, Cancer being intuitive through emotion, Scorpio being intuitive through depth and truth, and then Pisces through imagination and spiritual openness. And so those are kind of the differences. All three very intuitive in very different ways, having strengths in certain areas stronger than others. Those are really going to, make those signs stronger in their intuition. And then if you have a bunch of other things in your chart, other planets that are strongly driven by water, if you have a lot of water, you find a lot of your planets in the 4th house, the 8th house, or the 12th house. Those also can indicate very strong, intuitive, like just depending on what it is, there can be things that can block it too. But those are the houses that are going to represent, wow. Like, I just completely lost it. Those are the houses that are like all things intuition and just emotional, all things emotions, and again, in very different ways. So, shall we go into the houses now? I think I touched on all the water signs. So the 4th house, a lot of the times we discuss this as family, parents, mother especially, and I believe that we obtain so much of our intuitive nature from our parents in a way. I'm going to say this because I believe that, but I also, as someone who was raised by a Scorpio psycho, who is very intuitive, but also very psychotic, it gets a little confusing. Like, if you're raised by someone, that's also like very intuitive, but maybe a little paranoid, or I don't know, I feel like parents sometimes can give you the gifts and they can also like bleed these unnecessary things that they have on you. So being aware of like what your parents' true gifts were and trying to like open yourself up to those, like, oh, my mom was really good. Like my grandmother could be like, I need to find something. She would go to sleep thinking about it. She would dream about where it was and go find it. Like that's a gift. That's beautiful. She was a crazy Pisces, but she had this little system to how she would find things, and that's what she would do. She would tap into her subconscious and it would go to that place. Her intuition would like, be a part of that, but it was just her not remembering where she put something, and her subconscious would always show up for her. But I've
That's
always
so
like thought,
nice.
she's so magic. Like she can go to sleep and just wake up and be like, I know where that thing is, and go find it. And so those are the gifts that I really value, that I looked at and I looked up to as from my grandmother. And she would, had like a green thumb and these different things. So I think that one of the things I try to teach my kids is these are my spiritual gifts, and to see if they kind of embody them. I mean, some of them are teenagers that are like, Mom, don't ask my friends their birthday, please. Whatever you do, don't ask their birthday. But, some of them will text me and say, how come I'm never sick at your house? Or how come I never have this? Or, certain things. And I'm like, well, I sage and I crystal placement and like all these things. And they're like, I don't believe in that. I'm like, okay. But then you see crystals around their house. It's a funny thing to watch. It's kind of like, okay.
I love
So I
it.
think that channeling what your gifts that your mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, anyone in your family, in your line of just sorry family, is it very important to pay attention to those, because you can keep those going, especially if they're in your history, your family history. Then it's very, very important to keep that alive. So fourth house is going to be digging through that and figuring that out, like what was it that your family embodied, and then looking at what you have in your chart in the fourth house. Now it could be your sun, it could be your moon, any of the planets can be in the fourth house, and really tapping into maybe looking at your mother's chart or your father's chart and saying like, oh, they were really good at this and we have these similar placements, and you can kind of take that and run with it, and also create your own thing, because as most people know, you a lot of times go in completely different directions than your parents. So but I have had clients like their parents were preachers and they were completely on that. Yeah, exactly. And you go on the other swing. I was like, I would use you. I was gonna ask, but and then you go in the completely opposite direction, but it's still kind of like those similar gifts. You're still doing the same thing. You're preaching and teaching and spreading this information of what you believe to be true, which in a
Yeah.
roundabout way, you've
I
taken those
tell my dad
gifts.
all the time. I was like, I'm also an ordained minister, but my sacrament is psilocybin.
He's like, I don't know what that means, but good for you. Oh,
But my parents are both like, they're very religious. But when I'm telling you, my mom would know no matter where I was in the world, I would get a text and she'd be like, "Are you okay?" And it was always when I was in danger, or something along the lines. She always has known. And then my dad, I don't know how, but my dad must have had some sort of like tracker on me before the days of trackers, because my dad found
yes.
me. I had hitchhiked way out cities away from my town and hitchhiking. Like I didn't have any way for him to find me, and I don't know how he did, but somehow my dad found me. And to
Isn't
this day,
that wild?
we still don't know. Well,
You're
yeah.
like, what in the actual? And I mean, has he ever like given you any explanation? Like, I just
He
knew.
was like calling around. He knew that I wasn't where I said I was. Obviously, I was a teenager, and then I didn't like lie the best. I had told him that I was with my best friend. I didn't inform her because she was asleep, and when she answered the phone, she didn't know to lie. So
He's like,
told
who?
on
What?
myself. Yeah, and I don't. He said he like called around, and somehow he like put a bunch of pieces together and figured out that my boyfriend was also missing from his job. My secret boyfriend.
Oh my gosh.
Regardless, my parents are very intuitive. They just don't call it
Yeah.
that. They told me God
Yeah.
told them. So same,
God.
different terminology, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so beautiful about it is because they are a part of you, and you have that piece inside of you that even though it looks, so I'm trying like to lean forward so that I'm not like squeaking. Even though that it doesn't look the same, and the way that you again preach it is very different. It is the same like gifts, and so I think it's important that we look through that. And again, this is fourth house energy of like finding what those gifts are and what makes the most sense in your chart. And you can have a house, you can have the fourth house stacked full of planets and have nothing, or you can have nothing in your fourth house and be like extremely intuitive, because again we have the eighth house and the 12th house, not to mention the signs, the water signs that really like make the intuitive nature of your chart more just more intense or more sensitive, however you want to judge that. But fourth house, I say all things family. Um, I think that if you can trace your family back and finding like your ancestors and what they practiced, I really, really encourage that, because I think that's so cool to do. And I think that that's kind of one of your strengths, because you were born into that family for some reason, and to not get anything, even if it's just doing the opposite, you got something from that. So I would highly encourage everyone to do some digging. Look at your fourth house placements. There might be some keys there, and getting to that, finding that maybe what your gifts are and how you receive information. I know some people feel it. I know some people just like hear it or think it. Some people, it just kind of comes to them when they're doing certain things like prayer, meditation. Some people, it's like I was out, I don't know, on vacation, and it came to me like these sporadic, like random things. I do think that we underestimate the power of place. Your birth chart literally has a place that it will thrive better in. I mean, you know the word, I can never say it because I'm illiterate, but it's like a whole long word. But you will have certain places that your soul goes, and it will do better. It will excel better. It will make more money. It will meet the love of your life. It will, put you in these placements depending on your birth chart, and just more favorable for certain things, and or maybe not as favorable. I think of people that go on like vacations and really shitty things happen. I'm like, it probably wasn't the place for you. But
Yeah, after
that is a real
cartography.
thing. But those things also, when you're in those places, where I was going with that was you can have spiritual connections. I know that a lot of people go to these places like Peru, or I mean, there's a ton of places that you can go, and like I felt so spiritual and so alive. Like that's not by accident, and not everybody feels that going there. Like some people do, but not everybody. So I think that when you have those experiences, really tapping into that location and why it made you feel that way, because that is so lost in our culture of like, I need to take a picture because I'm here and for all my friends to be in it and to see all these things, but you're really losing sight of the feeling, you're losing sight of the experience. And I think that when you find out those places, you really need to tap into why you're feeling that way, because it could be ancestral, it could be your spirit just is thriving there, it could be a number of things. But if you're feeling that strong, intuitive, just urge of happiness in certain places, track that.
I'll even say cosmically, if you've been to any of the like one or anything, you can actually look and see like where the Stargate portals are on Earth, like and the Earth's chakra points. And so also if you work with Earth energy at all, and with the ley lines too, there's masculine and feminine ley lines, and so tapping into Earth's energy is fascinating. Specifically, if you're attracted to a specific spiritual spot, it could be a Stargate portal, and maybe that's your star lineage. So it's always interesting. A curious mind gets you very far, usually.
Or up till 3 a.m. down the rabbit hole. Whichever.
Oof, both.
Who needs sleep? But it's so important. And I think that we just lose so much sight of like I will never forget the moment I was in Colorado in the mountains. It was the first time I'd seen the mountains, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was obsessed. I ended up in Utah, not Colorado, which I still think there was obviously some connections there, because I met a lot of amazing people, my husband. I had a career there that I enjoyed. Like there was so much that was working for me in Utah than there was in Oklahoma. Now I'm back in Oklahoma and it's kind of the opposite. It's reversed. So I'm like thriving here. There's a lot going on. And so I think that just tracking feel and what's going on in your life that's working out. So
Yeah.
just all the things. And that's again, fourth house, home, family. And then we move to the eighth house, which is, I would say, eighth house, very intuitive. Obviously, I kind of brought up Scorpio and that connection of how Scorpio is just intuitive. It's like the fact checker and can just tell like the truth and gets to the bottom of things, just has a knowing. Again, the whole danger, if danger is present, there's just a knowing there as well. I think that all kind of embodies in the eighth house as well. It's also the house of like spiritual practice, whether it be a cult. Normally it's a cult, something taboo, but it could be, it doesn't have to be. I mean, if you think of it in terms of somebody who grew up in another country and then they join, you know, convert to Christianity, like that in itself is taboo. If you think about it, as weird as that sounds, like Christianity being taboo here, but for somewhere it's taboo. So it could be anything along those lines. This is going to be the place where I think you're doing the most work for intuition and understanding maybe like the other side, you know, any sort of connection with the dead or spiritual realms. Sorry, I gotta switch my legs and it's gonna be squeaky. But this is kind of the place where it comes to you, but there's a little more work involved. It generally requires practice, some sort of prayer, some sort of ritual, things like that. I love eighth house energy. I love my practice. I love doing witchcraft. It's like one of my favorite things, and just feeling the presence of just something bigger than me and something that can, you know, help guide me. Like when I'm doing a cord cutting, oh, it's the best feeling. But that intuition comes from a lot of knowing, a lot of reading. I've been practicing for a long time, but there's every once in a while I'll get a hair at my ass to do some random ass ritual that I don't even know if it's a thing, but I can feel it intuitively. It's something I need to do. And yeah, it just kind of comes to me. And I think that's just years of work. And, you know, again, that just something telling me like, hey, do this, and trusting that intuition. And I love all eighth house things. So if you have a full stack eight house planets or not, I mean, it doesn't, like I said, with the fourth house, it doesn't have to be that you do or don't have a lot of planets in there, but a lot of times it gives you the gift of occult and, you know, the mystery, fact checking, getting to the bottom of things. I guarantee you there's something going on in the eighth house with everything in the world that we're like unveiling. Oh, yeah. It's like that is eighth house energy. So yeah. What do you think on the fourth and the eighth house?
My comments for the eighth house will still stand, as far as I think that Scorpio energy is really good at being sneaky and deceptive because they do sense danger, so they know how to pull themselves out of it before it actually happens. They're like 2 or 3 steps ahead of us, and then that's why they also make really good investigative journalists, FBI agents.
And they're manipulative.
You know, oh my god! Don't even.
They are manipulative.
Yeah. My last encounter with a very specific one, she literally said sorry for this thing, that boundary, and then went straight over here and broke it and changed the verbiage and did exactly what she just apologized for with different terminology. I was sitting there,
you're like,
fascinating. Yeah. And out of alignment one can be dangerous. So
yes. Yeah, no, they are some sneaky, manipulative little beings, but I think, and dark, there's a darkness there, but again, it all depends. You know, I know some Scorpio women's suns, and their suns in the 8th house, but given like the right kind of light in their chart, they can be just delightful. You would never think that they were that dark, but I think deep down, I think that's something that they still have within them, because 8th house energy is really strong and very intuitive and very emotional and a little more. I mean, this is an area for passion, and anytime you take emotion and passion, it's kind of serial killer vibes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Just saying, but
An expensive divorce.
yeah. So, there's those things. But yeah, that's wild. I always find it interesting when I see a lot of 8th house placements, how they move through their careers. There's a lot of manipulation there, and they typically, I find a lot of them not getting as far as I thought they would, because they get that little stinger gets out. And again, this isn't just like a Scorpio. This is someone with a lot of 8th house placements that kind of have that passion and that emotion mix kind of going on. So it can be a little scary. And then our next one is the 12th house, which I think the 12th house is like the most mysterious house. When you look at it in terms of like, I always think of like our ascendant as birth, right? Like that's the moment that we drop from, our soul drops into our body, and it just comes from that 12th house. Like that line is kind of right there. And I always think of it as like, that's where you just came from. And it's like, you start over, right? In the whole like 1st through 12th house. It's the subconscious, it's the spiritual sensitivity. It's all things like feeling, not anything to do with like material world or the physical world. It is all things just spiritual. And ironically, it also is a placement for entrapment, and which is very physical, which is very much the physical world. And whether it be entrapment in your physical mind, which I see a lot of times, entrapment in incarceration, or just any, if you look at it, if you're trapped on an island, I mean, any type of entrapment can really indicate this. And I know that seems kind of silly. Like, I don't think I've really ever met anyone that's been trapped on an island or anywhere.
I've always wished.
Yeah, please, can my ship just get sent to this island alone?
Robinson Crusoe was like my jam. I was like, that would, yes. So Stanley Robinson, yeah, trap me on an island. As long as there's fresh water and like coconuts and trees, I'm good. Give me a book, I'm fine.
And I don't know that that would even be considered the 12th house entrapment, because it's typically seen as like a negative. So that would probably be like 9th house energy. Like, it's a vacation, I'm on an island, there's coconuts, fresh water. That's like 9th house. 12th house is more like, our plane crashed, we're on an island, how are we going to survive? That whole panic of
lost. More of a lost than a
yes, absolutely.
Than Stanley Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah,
less thriving.
Less exciting, less fun, more panic and feeling trapped. That is the concept of it, is feeling trapped. And so I think that but I do like your dream island. That sounds very 9th house, maybe a little 5th house. I could get there. Lover's Island, definitely 7th house. Like those sort of things. Is that what it's called, Lover's Island? Yeah,
I don't know.
See, I know some things. But yeah, just a house of.
I was going to ask, if my 8th house is ruled by Pisces, what does that mean as far as water?
Well, it's interesting because my 8th house is ruled by Cancer. It's because we have those fire signs. Fire signs. But the beauty of that is there is a heightened depth there for intuitive nature. Mine, again, is not a feeling thing. You would think having like my 4th house ruled by Pisces, which actually, This is how fun astrology is. I'm not going to go into this too much because it's not part of the lesson and it's going to be really kind of confusing. But if you're a little more advanced in uh, astrology, you'll understand this. Sometimes some of our charts, mine specifically, has intercepted planets and they don't touch all 12 houses. And what I mean by that is you have your ascendant, which rules your first house, and then the next sign rules your second house, and the next sign rules your third house. Well, when you have an interception, you have a planet that sits in the middle and it doesn't touch either edge of the house. So for me, Pisces doesn't touch my fourth house. It's just in the middle of my third. And Aquarius, no, I'm going the opposite way. Aries rules my fourth house. Anyways, whole another part of not anything I was planning on teaching on. But sometimes you may not have, just because you have an ascendant in a certain sign, you may think, oh, well, this is how each house is going to align based on what my ascendant is. You could have a sign in there that doesn't touch either border, and you have, like, Taurus rules my sixth, my fifth, and my sixth house. Sorry, I don't have it right in front of me, so I'm thinking. So, just fun fact for everybody out there who's like, well, if I ascend it's this, and my eighth house will be this. That's not always the case. But in this case, mine catches up because Taurus jumps in before the eighth house. So Cancer and Pisces ruling the eighth house of intuition has a really huge connection. Mine is a little different. Mine's all things eighth house and family, motherly, just kind of reproductive. You look at me, I have 6 kids, 6 birthed, 6 children. That is wild. But Cancer being right there in ruling my house of fertility and reproduction. I mean, it's an obvious, not to mention my moon in the 5th house with Taurus. That's a whole other thing. But it's a whole mathematical equation of a lot of children. Kim Kardashian has it. He also has a lot of kids. And a few others. Nick Cannon, I recently dove into his chart.
Gosh.
Very
I would love to do a live of that.
Oh my God, we should. We should do a live on people with a lot of kids and really what connects it and a lot of things about a lot of things. So that would be fun. But yours being Pisces, there's a growth of spirituality. There's a growth and like finding truth to spirituality and understanding what's really going on. And the facts are really important to you. Not only that, because you have Capricorn placements that really want to get to the bottom of things, but you also have this like desire, that Pisces energy of spirituality and learning and just connection in this house of like, well, let's figure it out. What's going on? How do we get to the bottom of this? And feeling it and lots of just water energy overlaying on water energy. I would say it's a really good advantage for us to have water signs ruling over those houses. And then Scorpio,
I just noticed that.
Yeah, Scorpio rules my 11th and my 12th house. And so because of that interception, so Scorpio ruling that is kind of a darker term, but that's for another day. Well, I mean, not technically, but if you have Scorpio ruling your 12th house, it actually does fall in line with what we were talking about today. It just gives you I would say, darker, heavier, more just the state of your mind can be it's almost like it can take your subconscious and your intuitive nature a little darker. I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example I can use. Like, I'm a pretty light person. I joke a lot, and I'm pretty light and pretty silly. But people that really know me, they're like, that's dark things going on there. Some thoughts that are like unexpected, because it just isn't something that really comes out. And so I think that a lot of times my Scorpio overlaying on my 12th house has like this really like extra layer of like depth and like truth seeking, but also like I get more of the darker side of things, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Hang out on the dark side, that's my bad. No, not at all. I'm like the lightest little light worker there ever was. Like I don't even touch anything if it has any kind of darkness to it. Like I'm like, I want no part of that spell because I'm such a light witch and I love that. But I am aware, there's an awareness to me of things that I'm like, that Scorpio in the 12th house brings a certain awareness that I understand that most people don't. And I know that, and I'm okay with that. And I don't even share that with many people. So, fun fact. So if you have that placement and you're like, I always just suspect something is going on in places, again, like you said, they just have that awareness, but it's more like the outer spiritual things going on, not so much like real life human shit, but other shit. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then the other thing that we were going to really tap in, and I did kind of go over it, is the moon and Neptune. Neptune is dreams, imagination, uh, psychic awareness, and then your moon is obviously your emotions and how you emotionally handle things, um, I like to say your emotional intelligence or lack of, depending. So, when you have your moon sign really aligns with your Neptune, I think it's a beautiful thing that can cause you to connect and trust your intuition and uh, kind of flow in that way, and it to be true. And then sometimes when they don't align, I just think of people that I meet that do a lot of stupid shit that I'm just like, did you not think that through? Or did you not see the signs? I mean, I've done that where people are like, did you not see? But I don't know. I feel like when it's misaligned, you make a lot of really bad judgment calls.
That makes sense.
Because it's how you feel emotionally and it's how you react to things and how things are like put in front of you and how you feel about it with like your intuition that's like, oh, this is good or this is bad. And if they're not communicating well or aligning or flowing, it can get a little tricky.
Yeah, absolutely.
If
And
your
also
moon
being
is
aware of
Libra,
what is your emotions versus other people's emotions. If you're a water sign, really that like empathic energy, and so you just have to be really aware of what is your energy and what is the energy of other people, how to clear out that energy so that you can actually have feelings, you can make informed decisions and
mm-hmm.
not based on other people's feelings and reactions.
Which again is such a big deal. It is, I mean, as a water sign, all three of them, Pisces, I would say being the worst, just really pick up on other people's emotions. And God, like that would be so hard to figure out. Like, is this what I'm feeling or they're feeling? Who's feeling this? The guy across the room that I don't even know, or like homegirl over here? Like, I can't even imagine how hard that is. I know that they suffer from that severely. So, protecting your energy, understanding, sitting with yourself. That was the other thing. Pisces is one of those signs that does better in solitude. They just do. They can listen, they can tap into their subconscious, they can thrive a lot better. 12th house, again, I made it sound really horrible. You get to be on a deserted island with no food or in prison, but also like being in that space of just by yourself and being isolated is really important for Pisces and for 12th house energy. So, and then having your moon and your Neptune really connect depending on where they are in your chart. Because your Neptune is in what again?
My Neptune sits in Sagittarius.
Mm. And so
But
yours
it
aren't, so your
sits
moon
in the fifth
being in
house.
Libra, yeah, and your moon being in Libra isn't, it's not like a bad one. It's not like one that I'd say, eesh. I always think polarities are hard because I'm like, oh, to have a Neptune in, you know, Pisces and your moon in Virgo, that would be really hard. But that's one that I would actually say jives pretty well. Maybe Sagittarius isn't the most intuitive sign, and neither really is Libra, but there is so much in your chart going on that brings so much intuitive nature to you that that just may not be the point for you. And maybe it is because, Sagittarius in the right state of mind and with the right people and the right surroundings can actually like channel some major intuitive, like spiritual things that a lot of people can't. The half horse, half human. There's something there. I don't remember the whole story behind it, but there was something. If you go back to like the history of Sagittarius, there's a story about it with intuition. So really cool read.
Interesting.
I'll have to find it.
I'm curious to know too if people like with what the water energy is more of like you're feeling things and you're more of like a physical empath, whereas like people with maybe like earth chart might have like a different sense of like vision, or one of the other gifts might be more heightened, or fire signs maybe are more claircognizant. I don't know. I'm fascinated.
I think water signs are definitely feelers. I think air signs are the thinkers. Like things just come to them intellectually, like hits them. I know that's what it is for me, but even though my Neptune is in Capricorn and my moon is in Taurus, I think that's also like an earth quality to just know, like have a knowing, something coming to you, or just knowing, like not the feeling, but just like, I know this. So I would say that's kind of an earth element, but definitely air because they're connected to the
That makes
air
sense.
around us, and that's how, things are perceived to them. And then water is for sure feeling. Like I was saying, if you're just somewhere doing something and it comes to you, fire signs, if you have a lot of fire in your chart, you're very active. And a lot of times in action, while body's in motion, things can come to you because you're kind of doing the thing, like the movement, and that's a fire sign trait is movement. And so if you think of like let me give you a good example. I would think of like a fire sign with maybe a lot of water in their chart, swimming. Like think of them like swimming, and then like things coming to them. Like that is their body and movement doing the thing that it loves in water, which would make the most sense. But those sort of things can be the place where that type of person could like meditate or pray or channel that intuitive nature, just something as simple as that, because you wouldn't think that. But if someone's like, I'm really trying to get connected to a spiritual world and I don't know how, it's like, look at your chart, you're a fire sign, probably should be moving. Water, really great thing that you can just throw yourself into, and you're right there, and that's what all emotions embody. So, and it holds memory. Like there's so much that you could do with your chart. And
Yeah.
air signs, like what is it? Maybe go stand on a balcony on a high floor somewhere, or hot air balloon. I don't know how accessible those are, but do something in the air. And so earth, that one's easy. Like go in the woods, you got a forest or jungle or wherever you are. Like you have the earth at your disposal always. So
Someone's knocking at my door. You keep going.
oh no, I think that was my rant, guys. We're all gonna wait patiently to see who's at Julie's door. So yeah, if any of you have questions, I'm sure she'll be right back, but please let me know. I have the chat pulled up, so if you want to ask any specific questions, or you can DM me. I think Julie posted and has all my social on there. I just do Instagram. I'm really horrible at it, but I will try to check it. And you're back. We wanted to know
Okay, it was
who
the
it
Mormons.
Oh my god. No, it wasn't.
Swear. Like,
You should have invited them in.
You guys are so lucky. I'm in the middle of a live stream right now.
No, you should have invited them
That is
in. It would have been a whole thing. We would have gone another hour. I'm like, I need your birth time. Text your mother, because they're always young, right? Text your mother. Let's do
I've
this
been
right
waiting for them to come. Of course, you guys are lucky today.
Oh, take it easy on them. They're just, they try to teach me something. I try to teach them something. And a lot of times I find they're quite curious, little
Oh, they're
creatures.
so curious. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Wow. Okay.
That's all I had.
Interesting.
That was my spiel.
Beautiful. Love it. Well, for anyone, well, we have definitely a lot of new people that came in today, and Alan's here again. We love Alan.
Alan, we love
But if
Alan.
anybody has questions, feel free to come in here once a month. Alan and I come on here and we do a different topic theme about astrology. We have about 5 or 6 different series every single month of all different types of topics. And if you're curious about any topics here or more about our community, you can check out the link in bio. We've got some fun things coming up, including a May challenge for the root chakra. We're doing it all together as a community. You can sign up for free and you'll get weekly emails with tips, tricks, recipes, exercises, and you keep a little card. So there's challenges with prizes. It's gonna be a good time. It's our first like big one doing this one. So yeah, it'll be a good time.
Amazing. Ooh. Yes, yeah. That quick.
Well, thank you, Al. Thank you, everyone watching, and we hope to see you guys soon. And Elle and I will be here consistently. We have been. And check out a bunch of our videos, over 100 hours of content, and even more over on the Patreon. And a lot more fun things are coming. So stay tuned, and we will be back. Bye.